How's everybody doing at Quakecon this year? That's what I like to hear. Like I said, I'm ZELLLOOO. I got Retro on the couch.
Hello. I played Doom 64 casually, and that's about it.
Yeah, he's thankfully learned a little bit more of the game since last year when I put him on the couch on the spot. So I'm going to be your only classic Doom representative this year, since we have mostly Modern Doom, which is great as well, but you're going to see a little bit of a different slice here. So we're going to be doing the main campaign today. Anybody who's not played Doom 64, it is a wonderful game by Midway back in the day, back in 1997. And remastered by Night Dive back in 2020. So big shout-outs to all our Night Dive staff. Do we have any Night Dive staff in the crew right now in the stage? I guess not. Well, big shout-outs to all y'all who worked on this game, because this is a really, really good remaster.
Very quickly, can the crowd just give a cheer quickly for Night Dive? There we go. They heard us downstairs.
So the category I'm going to be doing for y'all today is the main game. We're going to be doing Watch Me Die Speed. Watch Me Die is the hardest difficulty. It is equivalent to Ultra Violence in normal PC Doom. There's no Nightmare equivalent in this game, unfortunately. And then Speed is just the 80% moniker. So we're just going to be ripping and tearing. So any of y'all that saw last year's run, we did Max last year. I'm kind of in a hurry and I need to use the bathroom. So we're just going to rip and tear through hell as fast as possible. We're going to go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
Best of luck, ZELLLOOO.
Thank you. So this first level has a lot to go over, and it's also one of the most chaotic levels in the whole game. We have to talk about the movement tech, which is strafe running. So it has a lot of the movement tech in this game is a lot like old 90s FPSs, where if you move forward or backwards and strafe off to the left or right at the same time, then the game just adds those movement vectors together and you get a speed boost. You run roughly 28% faster. We call that SR40. There is SR50 normally in PC Doom, which would involve more inputs, but that's not allowed in this version of the game. So we just have our good SR40.
Yeah,
thankfully, we've gotten through this entire first level, which is actually one of the scariest in the entire game, so I'm glad we got through that okay.
Yeah, if you're confused about like that SR40 movement, think about it like a right triangle, Pythagoras. You know, it's a root 2 factor, basically.
Dude, I'm on vacation. I don't want to do math right now. So we have other things to talk about with the movement tech. So because of that extra speed and how Doom likes to do collisions and kind of movement detection, we can actually pick up items off the wall being at very specific angles. So if we just do this, we get the key instantly. So we're going to activate the switch anyways to activate a puzzle. So that starts what we call a macro for Doom 64, which is a new kind of script developed specifically for the Doom 64 engine. So normally there'd be a bunch of crushers trying to crush me right here, but only one macro can be active at a time. So by pushing the blue key puzzle switch and activating that macro, the macro for the crushers never start, which is really nice. So anybody who's not played this game, we have 25 levels that we're going to be playing in this category, and it's one continuous campaign. Everything in this game is built from the ground up. It's not, this 64 is not like a port like people thought it was back in the day. This is a brand new game by Midway that with redesigned levels, new sprites, new animations. It's really a full package, and I'm glad the 2020 version of the game really gave this game the love it deserves.
I didn't even realize it was that different from the original. I thought it was like a little bit of a true port, but playing through this game casually, like, I will say it is paced remarkably well. If you don't mind looking at puzzles for 15 minutes and wondering how the frick am I supposed to get that key card.
Yeah, there is quite a bit of that. There's quite a bit of puzzle solving. Anyways, we got that interesting secret right there because we could have done another key bump to get the yellow key early, but we actually wanted to get the yellow key normally because that's a trigger for getting to that secret room that had 20 rockets. Rockets are a very invaluable resource, especially during levels 8 and 9 of this campaign. So we want to go out of our way to pick up some rockets so we don't get completely hosed later.
Yeah, rockets, obviously super high damage. Also risky because splash damage and chance of a face rocket are high.
Yeah, anytime we get a face rocket, we're going to shout out to our good friend Dime because Dime loves face rockets.
Yeah, big shout out to King Dime, by the way, who couldn't be here this event, but we love him regardless.
So this is the first level where we see a lot of dynamic changes in terms of the map design. Things can change into other objects, which is a new feature of this this engine. And also another feature of this engine is that we can have enemies act as triggers for spawning other events. So we're actually spawning, we actually stayed in one spot particularly to stop an enemy from spawning, and then we need to kill the rest of the enemies tied to that script in order to activate the elevator. So I think it's going to be these 2 imps that didn't get blocked, and they're in very not good positions with these cacodemons. This is actually kind of hairy right here.
For those who haven't seen Doom 64, yes, those are cacodemons, not pain elementals. Yeah.
Yeah, health is in actually a really bad spot. We're going to go out of our way to get a little extra health because this is a lot lower. I actually forgot that backpack spawns here. I haven't been to that part, back in that part of the level in a long time.
Yeah, now that Dark Ages has like the Cosmic Realm, Doom 64 has always been like kind of Cosmic Realm hell to me. Just because it has such a different vibe from the classic Dooms. You'll see once we get to a level with a skybox.
This is really scary here, so I'm actually going to play this very safe with the... just kind of stay back here, because Lost Souls in this game are incredibly aggressive compared to how they are in PC Doom. In PC Doom, they're normally just a little bit annoying. In this game, they can face tank you. They can basically chase you across an entire level.
They are menaces.
So thankfully, we got some good weapons. We got a rocket launcher. We've got our chain gun. We're going to go out of our way for some other secrets because they're very useful, because we're going to grab some armor and a little bit of health. So we're in a good spot here. I do want to say at the beginning of this next level, after I grab the Soul Sphere in the first hallway, there will be some very, very strong flashing lights. So if you need to, please look away for about 10 seconds coming up right here. So right as I grab the Soul Sphere here. I don't know why they decided to do this back in the day, because even now, it hurts my eyes.
Yeah, I am feeling it, that's for sure.
All right, now y'all can look if you need to. So we're finally out of that. So thankfully, that's like the only big flashing warning area. So Chain Gun's really good at keeping Lost Souls off your tail here. Enemies have what we call pain states. It's basically the chance that an attack stuns an enemy and puts them in a pain animation. Lost Souls have a very high pain chance. I think it might be 100% if I remember right. So the Chain Gun with its rapid fire is very good at just keeping them off our tail. We're going to do some very careful movement manipulation, getting the exit here. Yeah, there are 4 Hell Knights in that room, so you have to just barely squeeze past them.
Keep in mind, this is the highest difficulty, so like if he does get hit, like that does have influences on the rest of the level, like because if you have less health, well, you got to play a little bit safer.
Yeah, enemies hit like a truck in PC Doom, so like any of these Hell Knights, their fireballs can easily do like up to I think 80 damage, and a scratch can do even more than that, and they can do as little as like 8 as well, and just kind of tickle me. That's what happens when you have a bunch of D&D players make your FPS back in the day. Oh no, we're playing Patty Cake with the door. So enemies also like to use the use command a lot to open doors, and we just kind of got into a tug of war with that.
That was unironically ZELLLOO trying to open the door and the Baron just shutting it right on him.
Yeah. So good.
I never noticed that casually. That's super funny.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have any Barney shenanigans for those of you familiar with Doom 2 runs, but you still get those instances where an enemy just loves to use something over and over. So a little bit of a maze right here. So there's a lot of ammo management, not just on the rockets, but also making sure that we have enough shells and bullets, especially cells later on. Hopefully we're not going to get block map bugged here. Okay, that's fine.
I know ZELLLOO just brushed it aside, but ammo routing's super important. Oh, nice crush.
Yeah, just want to make sure we get this. So I actually want to take a Mega Armor and a Soul Sphere into the next level, because the next level is extremely dangerous, definitely the most dangerous early game level. Is
there, like, routes where like you can skip the armor if you're doing good enough, or do you always...
This one opened up by itself! So the Super Shotgun does have some like height displacement when you shoot it, and that's actually important for a trick later, but it managed to shoot the compartment from the floor that I wasn't supposed to hit just yet until after I got the key. So I decided to just pick up the Soul Sphere now.
Wait, is that just like a spread RNG thing? Like you got super lucky with a bullet? Nice.
Just completely out of left field. So chalk that up to marathon luck. That's never happened before in a run.
You said the line.
I said the line. You know, I've played both the original and the remaster version for over 10 years now, like running, and you will always find new scenarios. Always. All right, so this is Alpha Quadrant. We're going to take care of a few things here, and hopefully we'll be okay. So I picked up the Mega Armor and the Soul Sphere in the last level to top off my health and armor, because there is a Mega Sphere in this level, which would put me at 200, but it's very out of the way, and there's no guarantee I could keep that health and armor due to how the escape route from that area is. So we're just going to take our chances. We've got very good stats at 158, 179. But like I said, this is definitely the scariest early game level because we're basically going to have to face tank some stuff later.
This hallway just scares me.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at it.
This hallway is absolutely miserable in ILs because you don't have a good weapon. And these are not, this is not
It's
a
just
good
filled
pattern.
to the brim. Like, how are you, like, you have to just shoot them to get past.
No, in an IL run, you take the 5% chance that you can actually get through. Otherwise, you just get blocked or die.
I imagine, yeah.
It's not fun.
Because in full game runs on Doom 64, like, a death invalidates the run, right?
No.
Or is that...
Well, in this version of the game with the 2020 remaster, you have quick saving, but there's no way to actually record a demo like there is in normal PC Doom games. So we just go by RTA, so we allow saving and loading.
Oh,
that's not a problem.
Yeah,
okay, so this is the American Gladiator room right here, and unfortunately we got sniped instantly. This is by far the worst room in the level, so we're going to have to get across these pillars. Please let me through. Thank you. Okay, close enough.
I am wincing.
Yeah, so that room is awful because if you fall, there are a whole bunch of specters that spawn in the pit and you can't get out. And there's a billion lost souls in that room already, which love to block you. So to get out of that, second try, that's good enough.
Every time I played that room casually and I fell, just reload save.
Yeah, pretty much. That was extra scary in
No, that was a nice level, though.
All right, so we do have a line def skip coming up right here. So like with the strafe running, we can actually go so fast that we can skip over triggers. So yeah, you saw nothing happen, and that's exactly what you want to see. Also, the only rocket jump that we're going to do in this entire campaign.
Nice.
So like I said, with movement in this game, it's not really smooth movement. It's more like I'm at one position on one frame, and then the very next frame, I warp to that next position. So because of that, I accidentally hit the panel. Whoops.
Yeah, it's
that's
actually easy to accidentally do a line def casually, right?
It is.
And they, in an update for Doom 64 on the PC, they actually fixed it so that casually it never happens. But if you want to revert to the old way because you like it more, there is an option for that, which is super cool.
Yeah, it is nice. But yeah, basically, like I said, you basically warp from panel to panel. So if you are on one side of the line def on one frame, and then you manage to go so fast that the game updates your position and be like, oh, you're on the other side of the line def this other frame, you definitely didn't touch it. So
you teleported over it as far as the game's concerned.
As far as the game's concerned. All right. Oh, shoot, almost soft locked. So that's a consequence of this game's very interesting level geometry. You might have seen there was nowhere to go, but there was a giant hole in the floor. This game, because of the Doom 64 engine, took some very interesting liberties with creating levels. It actually has these parts that are over and under each other, which is normally not possible in the Doom engine. But with 64, they do it in a very specific way that I'll talk about a little bit later when we get to TerraCore, because that's when it's going to be most apparent. So this is going to be the last of the base levels. So we have 8 base levels, and then we're going to be entering Hell after this. Nice line def skip right there. So normally the floor drops out beneath you, but with a very precise angle, you can skip the line def that would drop you. And we're just going to tag these guys. Bye-bye. Just give them a high five. I'm actually stuck in the corner. Geometry in this game is very picky with collision. All right, so we actually do have my favorite key bump coming up right here. And we're actually going to line up against the wall. So you think, because I'm a triangle on the map, that triangle is like my position. No, you're actually always a square. So I'm just going to line up right here. You see that key right there? We'll just line up here. And I'm going to run backwards and grab the key with my butt. So that is booty grab because Doom Guy's got the booty to be able to grab that off that shelf.
It's quite a cheeky strat, but it works.
All right, but we do have a very scary room coming up right here, so I'm actually going to grab this soul sphere right here, save. If I fall in this pit, I cannot get out, so thankfully that didn't happen. And we actually did manage to skip. We blocked off one of the Hell Knights, so we have to kill all of the Barons and any Hell Knights that spawn in order to get the exit stairs to show up. And it looks like actually both Hell Knights did not spawn, so this is actually really good luck. Unfortunately, this imp is in my way. I'm trying to conserve my rockets here because we still need rockets for the next level. I'm going to SSG here. I do not like this. Okay. Should be okay. All right. And that ends the base levels. So.
Nice.
Alrighty, so that brings us to even simpler next. So anybody who's played Doom 2 is probably familiar with Dead Simple. This is the sequel to that. We're going to be fighting several waves of enemies in an arena here. And this is a big reason why we need a lot of rockets. So we need to kill all of these Mancubi. We're hoping for 3 rocket kills. They can die in either 3 or 4. Yeah, about a 50-50 shot.
This level's like an homage to a classic Doom level with a bunch of, like a square arena that's combat, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. So this wave, we only need to kill the Hell Knights. We actually want to try and keep the Cacodemons alive if possible. This is a ninja Hell Knight.
Just hiding in the shadows.
He is. So we want to try and keep the Cacos alive because on the final wave, we do need to kill a bunch of Barons. We want to try and block as many as we can if possible. So
yeah, that's like enemy telefragging, right?
For the... Yeah, it basically is.
Yeah.
All right, this last one, we take the invincibility, and we need to run. We need to kill all the Mancubi and the Barons before this invulnerability runs out, because Pain Elementals in this game are very dangerous. There's several that spawn in the arena, and they are much more difficult to deal with than PC Doom is. So there's a bunch of rockets here. We want to have all the Barons clustered up so we can get as much splash damage on the rockets as possible. We have to be very careful not to face rocket ourselves at the same time here. Please die. I think this is the last one. Okay, yeah, everything's fading away. That's it. So we're out of a very scary level.
Nice. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, if we're talking about the pretty skyboxes of Doom 64, this level's a real treat.
Yeah, the skyboxes in this game are amazing. Like I said, all the art was built from the ground up, the sprite work and everything. Like, Midway really knew what they were doing. They went all out with making everything.
Yeah, like, I would not be surprised if I see these backgrounds as, like, somebody's desktop wallpaper. They're that aesthetically pleasing.
I think I had one at one point back in the day.
I'm tempted to now.
All right, so we did pick up a plasma rifle. Plasma is unfortunately very bad in this game compared to PC Doom. They made a lot of balance changes for the weapons in 64, and the plasma gun has one upside. There's no longer a cooldown when you stop firing, but the plasma shots are a lot slower in terms of firing rate. So unfortunately, we don't get to see a whole lot of this.
Yeah. In the classic Dooms, the plasma rifle is a little bit of a workhorse of high damage option, and in this game, it's like nichely used.
Yeah, it still has some uses, but we want to mainly save cells for the BFG, which we'll actually get by interacting with that statue right there. So we're going to get around these Barons, be very careful. And we're actually going to spawn block several Mancubi by getting these Spectres to take the spot on the ledge. Only one spawn, that's good enough. So we're going to get rid of you on the way out. And now we have the BFG. What are you doing there? I don't think I've ever seen him go there.
Well, he's invisible, ain't he?
He is. All right.
Doing his job.
So this is what the BFG does in this game. Just smash face into things.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk a little bit more about how that works later, but it's very important. So that's why we have very particular cell routing and don't really want to use the plasma that much. So TerraCore right here, this is the level where I talked about where we have a lot of over and under architecture. You can see like there's bridges right above us. So like I said, the developers took some very interesting ways to make more dynamic levels, and you see these bridges and such above us. Those don't actually exist. Like, there's no actual over-under architecture in the map editor. What we're doing basically is we are passing over triggers on the floor that raise or lower floors out of our field of view very quickly. And it's a very convincing illusion that you get right here. Nice, good shot.
Yeah, because I think Doom is famously, like, it has a little bit of 2D architecture and how it registers player entities, and so overlapping, like, levels is sort of a challenge with that mindset, and I guess, yeah, no, that's a creative solution. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, big shout-outs to Aaron Sealer, who was the principal, like, engineer for this version of the game, and PlayStation Doom while we're at it. He came up with a lot of the tricks by actually studying directly with John Carmack at the time. This is a bad BFG shot. Okay, well, that is not the right weapon. I'm glad I did not dime face rocket myself.
I saw that. I was like, are you
No, I'm not good. Okay, everything's dead, so we're all good now. So rockets in this game, there's a direct damage component and there's a splash damage component. And splash damage can do up to 128 points. And that includes my own health. So blasting myself point blank with an enemy or a wall really hurts and usually just kills me instantly on this difficulty. Also, that blood corpse was floating in midair.
We haven't made the joke yet, so I'm going to. If you face a rocket, you will watch me die.
Yep. Well, you might watch me die coming up here. So there are 3 Barons in this room coming up. We're just going to try and lure them towards a wall and pray they get out of the way. Hey, it actually worked.
Yeah, no, that was
the first one almost gave me a high five. He actually gave me a high five. He was like, bro, you can go on by. All right. Castle level. I really love the castle architecture in this game.
Welcome to Purple Hell.
Purple Hell.
It's cool.
No, the level designers really love their castle levels in this game. You'll see several of those. And I think that's like one of the strengths of the map design.
Yeah, I remember playing this level casually, and it was so fun. Because like you just wrapped in and around, and then this is the one with the secret exit, right?
It is. We won't be taking that, unfortunately.
It is like my favorite secret exit just because it's so silly.
It's very funny.
For those who don't know, there's like an arrow structure on the ground, and literally it's like, oh, you're pointing, but it points straight to a wall, and you just walk through and the wall doesn't exist.
It is very cheeky. All right, hopefully this Hell Knight will be out of the way. Nope, he's not out of the way. That's fine. So we will get our final weapon in this level. Hey, look at him. He's just trampling around. Anyway, we will get our final weapon, but unfortunately we're using it mostly just for the cells. There is an Unmaker in this game, but unfortunately since we're only playing the speed category and not max, we're not visiting any of the secret levels, and that means we're not getting any of the special artifacts that would power that up. That was a very nice fireball, by the way. Good shot.
Yeah, if you want to see use of the Unmaker, watch Kovacs run later today.
All right, so the upcoming room after I get this key is the Pentagram room, and it's actually one of the scariest because it's just 5 Barons all just trampling towards you. So we're going to try and group them up and be able to finish them off, most of them off with 2 BFG shots. So we're just going to just grab the cells. We're going to get the Unmaker here, bye-bye Unmaker, and just switch to the BFG. That looks pretty good. So the BFG works by... there's 2 components. There's a main damage from the ball, which does anywhere from 100 to 800 damage in increments of 100. But that's not where most of the damage comes from. Once the ball is fired, the game locks in an angle. And when the ball detonates, about half a second later, a bunch of invisible tracers in a cone from Doom Guy's current position at the angle the ball was fired all shoot out. And those can easily do several thousand points of damage.
Yeah, so. In layman's terms, the BFG is a big shotgun. About.
Pretty much. You would just want to just shoot it at your target and then run up and give it a big fiery hug.
Yeah, just want to be as close to or have in your vision any enemy you want to kill when the ball goes off.
Yeah, and that's why you want to approach enemies head-on when you use the BFG. You don't want to try and like fire the ball and then circle strafe around something. That's where a lot of the damage is lost because the tracers fire at the original angle, so usually they'll just end up shooting behind you. Anyways, anybody who's played this casually knows the dart room is coming up, and you're normally supposed to take an invulnerability through. We're not going to do that. We're just going to take our chances here because it's very slow to get the invulnerability.
Yeah, so there was constant traps going off all the time. You see the screen's completely red just from damage taken, and ZELLLOO is through. Holy.
So that's as close as you'll get to a bullet hell. So you heard it here first, folks. Doom 64 is Toho.
Does that mean Creed Maker and Dark Ages is Toho?
Yeah, sure. Pick whichever Toho game you want to know, because I don't know them well enough from a game perspective. So, as you can tell, it chewed up like pretty much all of my health, so this will be a little bit scary later on, but we will have to come back. But the library coming down here really showcases a lot of the movement manipulation for this game. So enemies are incredibly random with how they move usually, but on Wake Up, you can usually force them to walk a certain way if you're in certain positions, like this. So we're going to hope we can get past this Hell Knight here. Uh-oh. Okay.
Even with movement manipulation, there's still a lot of RNG in the enemy AI and when exactly to decide to move. So ZELLLOO actually has to practice a lot of this movement for just, okay, well, what if the enemy's in this location versus this location, and how does that change pathing?
That is exactly right. So we've got the final key. We're going to make a detour on the way out of this level, but I have to not get clobbered by everything because there are a bunch of enemies on my tail, and this is not looking good on health. Okay, thankfully they stayed out of the way. So this gives a few things. So we've got this BFG for some ammo. We've got a Megasphere, which refills me to 200, 200. Very, very important. And it also lures enemies away from where the exit was so we can get out safely. And I would love to be able to skip that Megasphere, but this next level is so brutal that it's just not really reasonable. Alrighty.
The classic breath in between levels.
Well, this is like probably one of the scariest mid-game levels, so I need to kill all of the Barons first here. So that's going to be the trigger for getting the blue key. But there's a lot that happens on this level. So there was actually a line def that we didn't see. It triggers a whole bunch of pinkies on this side over here. So we're going to have to maneuver around them while we're taking care of the other 2 remaining Barons. So a little scary. I'm trying not to face rocket myself, just kind of inch myself over.
I just see that pinky sneaking up on you being like, oh, if it just takes one more step.
And then we actually have one little trick right here, so I'm going to go to where the key is. We're actually going to save and load instantly. So this actually de-aggroes a bunch of lost souls that are on top of the exit area. And that means that they will not try and move away, which is important because if they normally try and move away, you kill them. And then you try and go to that area, more of them spawn later, which is really bad. We don't like that. So we're going to try and get ahead of everything in this area. And if we manage to get ahead of everything, we're great. If not, we're probably dead. This is bad. This is real bad.
This situation has scuffed all over.
No,
Nice.
we're okay. We're okay. We're okay. There are a whole bunch of shotgunners, so I do need to take this a little safe. Big explosion here. And get in the exit, please. Thank you.
Nice.
So one thing we didn't talk about, actually, well, there is a key clip right here. So this is a funny one. So if we just kind of wiggle right here, and then we can get it. Usually just kind of wiggle around the corner. It's like you're just like reaching for it, like a kid reaching for the cookie jar on the shelf.
Yeah, it's kind of the similar way to booty grab works, that the game doesn't necessarily check if you can grab something. Rather, it's like your speed. If you have the speed to grab something, it grabs it.
Well, it actually checks position and then it kicks you out. That's basically
really?
how it works.
Okay.
That's the fun part. Anyways, so like I was talking about earlier before I cut off on the key clip, there's an interesting thing about exiting in this game because you don't exit and end a level instantly when you meet the exit condition. So there's actually a half a second delay when you hit a switch or hit a teleporter. You can still die during that half a second. And if you die during that point, then you actually do die. You do complete the level, but that means you death exit, and that means you lose all of your equipment, which is obviously very bad for a run. Also, bye-bye.
Nice.
So I have to be very careful when I approach like these like really high-risk areas to exit from, because it's very possible to just get creamed, and then it's like, oh, I've lost my run because I have no equipment anymore.
Every time you run through a hallway full of enemies, I'm just wincing, being like, how are you not taking damage? Like I would just instantly die.
Oh, this is actually looking bad. Okay. Well. So that's using the tracers to my advantage there. Just kind of just let them do their work and sweep up enemies. Are we going to get lucky? We are not lucky. So no, sometimes that door stays open because an imp manages to block it, but that didn't happen. So we're just going to have to push the switch and get out normally. All right, so this is like one of the few times we'll actually use the plasma because we want the punching power to be able to get through the imps quickly, and there are a bunch of Lost Souls. Lost Souls in this game are incredibly aggressive. Like, if you've played Doom 1 on Nightmare, that's actually about the aggressive level they are normally. They will just chase you, they will keep biting you at point-blank range, and you just want to get rid of them ASAP. But thankfully, they have very low health in 64. They only have, I think, 60 HP, so they're pretty fragile. They're basically glass cannons.
I guess kind of hard to, like, how much is 60 HP, like, intuitively?
That is as much as an imp has, so pretty much a shotgun shot takes care of them. Yeah, for reference, like, let's take a tanky enemy like a Baron. A Baron has 1,000. Oh, this bad. I wanted to carry this health. This is actually kind of bad because I wanted to carry a whole bunch of health into the next level.
ZELLLOOO, please, my heart can't take it.
How do you think mine feels right now? So we're going to grab this little secret right here. There is a nice little bookcase secret with some rockets and cells. I think I will go for the risky strat still for the next level. I think I have enough health to make this work. I think I'm going to just try for it. We like risky strats in here, don't we?
Yeah, always got to go for them.
Here's one of my favorite BFG shots. Kaboom! Also, if you fall down this hole, you're done. And back on the original N64 version where you couldn't save, many people would finish this level, fall down there, and it's like, oh, I guess I'm playing a 10-minute level all over again. All right, so we've got another arena level. This one's a little bit different. So we're actually going to have to hit a switch first before we get to the arena part. So I'm picking up a whole bunch of ammo here. Got to be very careful dealing with some of these pain elementals. Like I said, I want to conserve health. So I'm going to take this very carefully. So just make sure he stays stunned. I want to make sure they're not going to follow me. And now we begin the arena. So I only need to kill very specific enemies. And I know which ones I need to kill. So kill that pinky there. Another pinky right here. And then the imps show up. So we need to kill specific imps.
Yeah, there's the concept of sort of trigger demons, which has stayed through like the whole series as a whole, all up until literally Dark Ages, where just certain enemies, if you kill them, progress the encounter to the next state, where they spawn in more enemies, and there are trigger demons in that wave to spawn the next wave, and it just kind of keeps going until you meet the end condition.
Yep, so once we kill these last Arachnotrons and Mancubi, 2 cyber demons appear on this difficulty at the same time, which is extremely scary, and unfortunately it's very difficult to deal with both of them because that can happen.
Yep.
I'm going to get rid of that imp because he can block me.
How much demon do how much damage does cyber demons do about?
Their rockets are equivalent to your rockets. So yeah, so they can deal up to 288 damage.
So yeah, it's like being face rocketed when you get hit by them.
I am like not in a good position to fight these at all with the optimal strats. Okay. I think we're just going to have to just do what we can with the tracers. Okay, this is fine.
1 down?
2 down. Okay,
2 down, nice.
Good enough. I'm going to grab the Berserk before I start the next level because the next level is a little scary. Yeah, like fighting 2 at the same time is just so miserable. The old strat used to actually go for a very out-of-the-way invulnerability, but when I was rerouting this category last year for a better run, I decided to just cut that all out and just be like, you know, let's just go balls to the walls and just do everything. And if you could do it right, you save 30 seconds, but it's also incredibly difficult. So we're going to lure these Barons over to the side, just kind of walk right into the room there. So like I said, with the earlier monster manipulation, you can just kind of just walk in very carefully with the Barons off to the side and just slip out before they become a problem. Now, the thing is they can also try and activate the doors on the other side too, so hopefully they won't try and chase me later, because this is one of the longest levels in the run. I think this is actually the longest level in this category.
I remember casually playing this level. It's in my mind of a maze of like, where the heck do I go?
Oh my goodness, that was so much damage.
I do love the on-screen effects of this game, because I can just tell by vibe when there were very risky situations happening, because the whole screen's red.
My heart just stops.
It's just one of those, it's like that instantly like, oh crap moment.
Yep. So this is going to be like my one and only break. Like I get to wait for just a little bit so I can actually catch my breath. So, hi Raicho. How are you feeling right now?
Oh, just swell. There's no enemies in this encounter, right?
You know, I don't have to start killing enemies until this 5th ring goes away, and now we can start killing this one. So normally a bunch of pain elementals are supposed to drop in, but if you just never let that one move, they never start spawning in. So it's great.
The Cacodemon is or was that a pain elemental?
It was a pain elemental.
The pain elemental is just sort of sitting in the spot where other pain elementals spawn, and because that spot is occupied, the game literally just can't spawn anything.
Yep, it's all good. All right, 2 keys down, still have 1 more to go, and we've got a very hairy room coming up with a bunch of Hell Knights, so I'm hoping I don't face rocket myself, because you can see this level's pretty cramped. A lot of this game as a whole is very cramped libraries and corridors, because you're working within the limits of the N64 back in the day. So you have to just make the most of your hardware space and such. So the levels are more compact in that regard.
I thought
Where's that Hell Knight going? He wanted to get away.
The demons are just well read in this game.
Really are. So we're going to go a little bit out of our way and get some extra supplies here because they are very, very useful. And we'll also get rid of this pain elemental for later, so he's not a problem. So there's an interesting quirk with this game. You can only have so many lost souls on the map before pain elementals won't spawn more. So none of these are going to spawn any because there are already way too many Lost Souls already on the map when the map starts, which is really nice because we didn't really talk about it, but pain elementals not only spawn 2 Lost Souls at a time in this game, but if you try it and do what you do in PC Doom by blocking the Lost Souls with your body, they'll actually just explode for rocket damage in your face and usually kill you.
Yeah, so there's a spawn limit for Lost Souls. Is there a spawn limit for regular demons in this game?
There's not.
Oh.
It's specifically a Lost Souls. How is that Baron right there on the right? I've never seen that.
Quakecon luck.
I know. Last year, too. This game loves to just put on very funny.
Are just masters of coyote time.
Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine Wile E. Coyote just becoming an enemy in Doom 64 universe?
Well, I mean, canonically, after he falls, like, where do you think he goes?
I don't know, because it's hard to imagine where any Doom 64 monster falls because we can't jump in this game. All right.
Nice.
All right. So good to get that out of the way. So this brings us to Spiral. So this has a bunch of rockets. So this is literally the whole level. It's just a spiral.
It's one big arena with a staircase.
The most aptly named level in the whole game. You can't complain. But this also is kind of scary because there are a whole bunch of pain elementals above, and the Doom engine in general doesn't really do proper height displacement. So any entity has infinite height, which means any of those pain elementals could have blocked me if I tried to walk under them. And if that happened, usually you just get caught and they Lost Soul explode you to death. All right, so we actually have a little bit of application for our Super Shotgun right there. So that same trick on Tech Center that we saw way earlier where I accidentally opened that Soul Sphere chamber happened right there. We were able to just hit a switch from way lower than we were supposed to. It's the only instances of that in this category, unfortunately. You get to see a little bit more of that in some of the other categories and campaigns of this game. So we are topped off on rockets thanks to Spiral, so we can just kind of slam a whole bunch of rockets in a lot of spots, which is exactly what we're going to do coming up right here. So we're just going to clear one passage here, and we're just going to let the sparks fly and clear out most of the enemies there. Hi.
I know it's a constant thing of every Doom game, but seeing so many die with like one BFG blast is just like a primordial joy.
It is the most satisfying thing. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of skipping. We normally have to hit a switch to lower that barrier. We're just going to kind of ollie onto here.
Just walking on the ledges, yeah.
Doom Guy is really Tony Hawk in disguise. He just needs his skateboard.
Yeah, because normally if you're not walking on the ledge, those gates will block you. Mm-hmm. But you can just kind of sidestep that quite literally.
Yeah, like there's no gliding in this game. Like if you're familiar with PC Doom tricks, like there's no gliding. The gap just manages to be wide enough to just comfortably walk right through. So I'm going to grab this on the way out. So we're topped off on health because the next level has a pretty scary opening. I didn't know if Spectre was still alive back here. Okay, I have to also be careful not to soft lock down the well, so you can skip the exit trigger by accident if you run too fast and you're soft locked down the well. It's like, okay, I guess we're just not going to play any of the new Dooms at that point. All right. So we need to kill all these enemies here in order to make the yellow key spawn. So we're going to do a little bit of a small little ledge clip here. There's no jumping in this game, but we do have some air control. Well, we don't really have air control, but we maintain our momentum, so we can get to this ledge if we jump this right.
Yeah, because when you're in the air is it the same way in Doom 64 as in the classic Dooms, where you're in the air, you're locked into your speed?
You are 100% locked. So grab an extra armor. I didn't talk about armor yet. So there's actually 2 types of armor classes. There is blue armor, which we picked up, which provides half damage protection. And then there is the green armor, which only gives 100 points and only provides 1/3 protection. So this has a couple of It has effects. So whenever you pick up a blue armor and you have the half protection, you want to extend that as long as possible. Because sure, if you get down to 80 points of armor, you think, oh, I want to grab a green armor and get to 100%. But that ends up making your protection only 1/3 instead of 1/2. So it's just better to just kind of extend the blue armor for as long as possible wherever you can, and then only pick up a green if you're really low. Also, we're just going to let we'll just let that door lock on its own, and the Barons are trapped forever. Goodbye. My health is actually okay. I'm actually going to skip that Soul Sphere and pray it doesn't come back to bite me in the butt. Because the ending of this is pretty infamous for killing runs in pretty much every run of this game. Every category as well.
There's just a lot of places to fall.
Well, I have to do a bunch of like tanking at the end. It's very possible I'm just going to whiff and die at the end here. So all those barons from earlier are probably right here. So we're just going to get around the corner here. There's something behind me. But thankfully we managed to get out okay. So
he tried.
He really tried. All right, just a few levels left, actually. So coming up on Burnt Offerings here. This actually has one of my favorite strats coming up in the past the blue door. So a lot of runners have named things or just come up with things. And I actually came up with a strat for an IL run. Anybody who doesn't know what an IL is individual level where you just basically play a level from pistol start. But it was my friend Peaches who decided to name this the Ring Around the Rosie strat, as you will see here. So normally you're supposed to like activate a guard to like stop the darts from happening, or you can just do this circle strafe back and over, Ring Around the Rosie.
It's just perfectly timed to where you avoid the darts.
Yeah, so this ended up coming from the fact that when I was doing ILs for this, I'd try and sit in a corner to avoid the darts. And that's great, but those Arachnotrons usually just snipe you to death like 90% of the time. And it's like, you know what, I'm sick of dying. Let me find something. And it's like, I found that one day.
A classic rule of Doom is if you ever stay still, you're going to die.
Alrighty, so not too much left in this level, thankfully. We just have to go get the last key. But the ending is a little scary because, like I said earlier, we don't have like proper like heights in this game. So it's very possible to get very blocked on the final jumps and then just be like, oh, I guess I'm stuck and dead. Also, I love that effect right there with the wall.
Yeah. I will not lie. The first time I saw that, I thought that was like going to kill you. Like it was like a crush death like trigger or something. But
it's actually really interesting how that's made because basically every tick, the position of those doors, it's a new door like updating. So it's very interesting.
So
it's not. Oh, I got blocked right there. Thankfully, the other part of it was open for me. Please let me in. Please let me in.
Enemy collision is very forgiving on their front. That's good. Let's go.
Because Arachnotron hitboxes in this game are the freaking worst. They are a rectangle, and they are like the worst things to actually try and get around or hit. So I'm glad they didn't give me too much grief.
One of the widest enemies.
Pinkies are the same way, too. They are freaking school buses. I feel like a Mario running out. Imagine a bus. So we just have a lot of killing in this level for Unholy Temple. This is actually the only other level we'll see in this that has an Unmaker, well, until the last one. But we're not going to use it. Ow, that hurt. That's okay. So we have a bunch of cells here that we're going to just go ahead and use. Just burn up what we can, because we're going to get a big cell refill in a bit. So thankfully, he stayed on the other spire. So we hit this panel right here at the back. So that gets us an Unmaker and a bunch of extra cells. This is basically going to carry us through endgame right here. Health is not in a great spot, but we can get some extra health in the next area. So we actually have another arena fight to just kind of wait out. So it's 3 waves of Pinkies just being airdropped in. And then on the 4th wave, it'll be several Barons. We'll actually want to get these Pinkies to try and spawn block those Barons if possible. Because we do have to come back to this room later. Because there's that switch right there. We can't access it yet. So we're just going to just kind of wait here. Now it should be good. Yeah, we actually managed to spawn block like 3 of them. Wow.
Oh, that was
That's really good luck.
Yeah.
So with it just being a whole bunch of Pinkies later, we can just blow them out with a BFG and don't have to really worry about them. But coming up, we do have the most important line def skip in the game. This is getting the yellow key early. So normally, you would try and get this yellow key, it would disappear. You try and get it again, it would disappear. And you can get it on after the 3rd time. But doing it that way locks the castle until you kill a bunch of cacodemons that spawn outside. So we don't want to do that. So we're going to line up in this corner. Oh, unfortunately, you heard news, so we don't want that. That should be good. I actually got shot and knocked off course. Wow, the RNG is so bad.
These guys don't miss.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
4th time's the charm. So that gets us the key much earlier than we're supposed to. And with the we don't have to deal with the cacodemons going back, so it's very nice. Just saves on time on ammo. So this is a really neat little switch puzzle right here, though. So there's these key combinations that you can see on those barriers, like the one by the blue key. But the easiest way to do this puzzle is just start with a switch and then go clockwise. It's that simple. So that opens up the parts of the level that will actually open up the exit, because the exit was actually where we got the yellow key, but we couldn't access that part because there were a bunch of barriers in the way. So we only need to explore one last part of this. We're going to see if we get the no-scope shot on this Hell Knight coming up. It's always funny when it happens. Yep, there it is. It just targets the one all the way up there in the corner and gets him mad.
Yeah, because there is a little bit of weapon spread, does it normally just hit the Arachnotrons?
It's supposed to. So Classic Doom has auto-targeting for up and down, and it just likes to prioritize weird things sometimes. Like, as we saw on Eye of the Storm earlier, the big castle, sometimes it likes to target stuff that's way up on the ledge instead of the enemy that's literally right in front of you. Uh-oh. This is actually kind of bad, because now a whole bunch of enemies are in the way, and I kind of need to jump off of this thing. All right, we're good. All right, so now we go back to where we got the yellow key. We need to kill one Baron to make the stairs appear, and then we are going to leave. I love the architecture in this room so much.
Oh, yeah, those little gargoyle statues and the little sprite way of how they always look at you is, like,
it's
perfect.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
It's like SNES Doom all over again. All right, well, if you thought 2 Cyber Demons was bad enough, we have 3 to kill in this level. So we're going to get rid of a whole bunch of imps first. I'm going to get rid of this Cyber. Nice. So that's 1 down, but the next 2 are actually locked in a cage together, and that means they can actually come out at about the same time, which makes them super scary to fight. And I already had enough trouble with the first wave. I don't want to deal with another batch of 2. So we're going to pray that they decide to come out one at a time. Okay, this is actually a decent start. He might try and walk over there. Oh, no, nope. This is bad. Okay, there's 1. Come here. Beautiful. Nice level.
Very good.
Very good level. All right, and that actually brings us to the last level. This is the Absolution, so this is one last big arena fight. So the Absolution was actually the working title for this when it was in development, but Midway decided to change it to Doom 64 for brand recognition, so very important. So this is a funny level because we need to kill a whole bunch of enemies to make the Mother Demon spawn. And these enemies are actually way off in the distance in like a warehouse, and they just kind of walk towards teleporters. So this is actually where the demon keys would come into play if you visited the secret levels. You could use them to activate these gates. And what happens is really funny because the gates close, and the enemies that are off-screen in that little third get smashed by a giant crusher off-screen, and that's how they die. Yeah. Unfortunately, you don't get to see that. So you get to see rocket action. I think that's still pretty good.
Yeah, in WMD Max, isn't it like an issue with that crusher not killing every enemy?
Yes, and thankfully we're not having to deal with that here. Thank goodness, no.
Sometimes it could just be up to enemy AI whether or not your max % run is valid or not, and whether or not you'll have to reload after to try again.
Thankfully, I have a very good time now, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. So we're just finishing up the cleanup here.
Yeah.
Just a couple more enemies.
All this is just one big final combat gauntlet before the Mother Demon comes.
Yep. All right, well, here is the Mother Demon. There was the Mother Demon.
All it takes is a few BFGs.
And you know, it's hell. Everything has to die, including me. So bye-bye. And that's time.
And time.
Oh, I missed the 100% kills. Oh, man.
See, well, luckily it was not a max run, so.
Well, you know what? Lost Soul lives to see another day, which I guess will be in 2016. 46. That's a pretty good time.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, so my PB is like a mid 45. That's a good run.
Yeah.
So I hope y'all enjoyed. This game is awesome. Like, really, y'all should get this on Steam or any modern console if you want. It's like $5. Like, trust me, you can spare $5 to play this game.
It's probably discounted with the Quakecon stuff's going on, so even better deal. Highly recommends.
Yeah, but I think that's going to do it for me. I hope you all enjoyed a lot. Like really is my favorite Doom 64. Like Doom 64 is my favorite because my dad bought this game for me as a kid. Like PC Doom was his, and Doom 64 was like the first I owned. So it holds a very special place in my heart. So, but I think we'll go ahead and pass it off, and we'll let y'all get ready for Doom 2016. So thank y'all.
Yeah, thanks for watching, y'all.